Final with Kaylee Hamilton.
Thanks for joining us. Action heroes and villains walked among the Jets faithful that flooded downtown today, making the city's core look more like Metropolis or Gotham City. Instead of battling each other, the two sides worked on their patience as hundreds waited outside the convention center to get into the sold-out Comic-Con. Some were turned away. Here's Global's Blair Malistravich. A 28-year-old is facing impaired driving charges after knocking over a traffic light standard and crashing into a cab this morning. Police say a man was heading west on Portage Avenue just before 2 a.m. when he hit the light standard at Ford Street, knocking it over. The driver took off but rear-ended a taxi at Portage and Memorial Boulevard. Officers arrested the 28-year-old driver. He's now facing several impaired driving-related charges. Crews worked quickly to get the light back up and running once again this morning. 12 hours after it started, a police standoff in Tuxedo finally came to an end early this morning. Police and the tactical team surrounded a condo complex in the 1800 block of Wellington Crescent yesterday afternoon. They were called to check on the well-being of a man who had barricaded himself inside. There were fears he was armed. Officers arrested a 30-year-old man and seized several air guns, a hatchet, and knives from the home this morning. Two people are in custody tonight after robbing two delivery drivers of food and cash. Earlier this week, a man and two others called a restaurant and placed a delivery order. When it arrived, the suspects, allegedly armed with a knife, robbed the driver. The same thing happened again the following night with a different restaurant. A 25-year-old man and a 19-year-old man have been charged with the crimes. Time now for our first check on weather, and we are tracking a system coming in from Alberta. They're seeing quite a lot of snow tonight. Well, marathoners running the New York City Marathon hit the road tomorrow, and officials say they're leaving nothing to chance. Heavy security will be monitoring the event from the air to the ground. The plans for extra surveillance started the day after the Boston Marathon bombings. 45,000 runners and as many as 2 million spectators are expected for the event. And Mitch has been running around all day, his own little marathon here, because it's a very busy day in local sports. Thanks for joining us. We're actually not live in studios tonight. Instead, we're coming to you from Winnipeg's Richardson International Airport for our summer Live on Location series. Today, we're taking you behind the terminal to the airport fire hall. Now, this is no regular fleet. The trucks here are larger than the ones you usually see on the streets and are ready for any emergency on the runways. These crews fly to action at speeds of more than 100 kilometers an hour. They find their way in the dark, fog, or heavy smoke using GPS and douse fires or cut through planes with high-powered nozzles. Now, we'll have much more on that in just a bit, but first, on to today's top stories. Winnipeg fire crews rushed to distinguish a blaze inside a Sturgeon Creek apartment building tonight. About 100 people were forced from their homes when smoke filled the suites inside. Global's Blair Malistravich joins us tonight from the scene on Portage Avenue with the latest. Blair? All right, thanks, Blair. Global's Blair Malistravich reporting from Portage Avenue tonight. Well, a hospital security guard says nurses thought he was joking when he alerted them to a man that was sitting dead in their waiting area of their emergency room. Brian Sinclair was discovered 34 hours after arriving at the Health Sciences Center ER in 2008. An inquest is probing what went wrong. Global's Brittany Greenslade has the latest from inside the courtroom today. Another candidate has joined the race to lead Manitoba's struggling Liberal Party. Winnipeg businessman Dugald Lamont launched his campaign this morning.
I see that families are working harder and harder, working longer hours, and often at lower wages. And this has been going on for far too long.
Lamont owns a local communications consulting firm. The party will choose a new leader at a convention this October. Currently, the Liberals only have one seat in the legislature. Winnipeg lawyer Raina Bakari launched her campaign to lead the party last month. The opposition Tories used symbolic red ribbon today to criticize what they say is a billion-dollar ribbon-cutting tour. The PC leader handed out what he says is a list of spending announcements made by the Sellinger government since its last budget in April, claiming it adds up to $1.2 billion. The Tories have slammed the NDP for increasing the provincial sales tax while continuing to spend. And a shocking arrival for hotel patrons in the Brooklands area last night. A woman crashed her van through a floor-to-ceiling window at the Westbrook Inn on Keewatin Street around 8. The vehicle coming to a stop inside the hotel's bar. Police say the woman apparently lost control before plowing into the building. Luckily, no one inside was hurt. It's not known if alcohol was a factor in the crash.